people, we are back. A2TP podcast, episode 103. We are back for another 103. A2TP podcast. How you doing? It's your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Taj, the co-hostess with the most.
And we are back with another episode of the dopest show on the internet. And that's us. Gotta manifest shit. You guys can catch us on A2TPodcast.com. Y'all can catch us on Facebook. Y'all can catch us on Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Spotify, TikTok, and Breaker. Get right to it. How are you?
I'm doing
Hold
good.
on.
What?
What's with the chip shades? What are you, a cop?
I'm just feeling cool and
Just
chill.
cool with the Gucci glasses?
Well, I don't want nobody to think I got a black eye or nothing. I'm just,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I know, like, she got shades on.
I'm glad you didn't keep them on for 60
Well, I
seconds.
can put them back
for
on.
60 minutes.
But I was just chilling with your glasses on.
No, you can wear them if you want to.
Yeah, I felt cool with them. I'm an 8. I'm an 8. I feel good. I had a moment of Tasha time last week.
Take the glasses off.
Why?
Because people gonna think you beat up.
They just saw me. Oh my God. I ain't never been beat up. And Lord knows not by my husband. Sheesh. I had a moment of Tasha time last week that felt so amazing. And I really have to do that more. And it's not about anybody else other than me, of just wanting a block of time where nothing's on my mind. Like, I knew my husband was taken care of. He was, go, enjoy yourself. I went, got a massage, got my nails done. And I just have to do that more to, decompress. I wish I could get, a 3-hour massage.
It's a bit much, babe.
It might be, but, it's just... I don't know, maybe go to one of those places where you get a massage and a sauna and then make just longer. But I feel good. I need more of that in my life. That is a commitment that I'm making to myself. You okay?
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm an 8. I wish I was a 9 or a 10, but I'm an 8. Nothing's wrong, but just life. Work financially, I'm a 10, no complaints there. Work is an 8. I won't, it's
got some high numbers this week. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I am looking forward to rest, but overall I feel good. My body, I feel good. I'm gonna say I'm an 8 there too. Again, I would like to have everything at a 9 or a 10, but I'll take it as it comes, Again, nothing's wrong, so that's a great thing. I'm grateful for that. Just looking forward to more decompression.
You got something coming this weekend?
Yeah, with the another short day week.
Because 3-day week.
But it kind of sucks with the holidays being on a weekend. I feel like it's kind of suck. It's like your birthday being on Christmas. You don't get the extra oomph to it. It just kind of, even though you get the Monday, and then for Christmas I had the Friday and the Monday, it still just feels like a long weekend rather than having off boom, Wednesday in the middle of the week.
Oh, I'm about to say, because when you think about it, what really is the difference? I think it sucks on the weekend too, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's it would suck if they didn't give you the day, but they give you the Monday, or some companies give you the Friday. So
but it's an extension of the weekend rather than having the weekend.
But if Christmas fell on Friday,
well, then,
it would be the same thing.
If Christmas fell on a Wednesday, then that'd be kind of good, because we get Christmas Eve and Christmas off, both are considered a holiday at my job. So we would work Monday, then have Tuesday and Wednesday off, then work Thursday, Friday, then back to the weekend again.
Right.
So it kind of switches it up a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, a 4-day weekend is a 4-day weekend. I'll take it, but just being able to break up the week a little bit makes it feel different. But, I'm grateful nevertheless.
Got you.
How about you? How you feeling?
I'm good. Mentally, I am a 9. Feel
that's
good.
great.
Had a few days off here. Resting my brain, not thinking about work or answering emails or just, telling people what to do or doing something with my hands. Just doing nothing or doing what I want to do. And that's been relaxing on my brain and my body. Definitely my body.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So,
Financially?
financially a 9. You know, new year coming in. Yeah, started planning these travel dates and thinking about, not planning, but thinking about these travel dates and doing all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm a 9 there. Work.
How's work?
Work is, I don't know, because I ain't there. And I ain't gonna be there till I'm ready to be back there. Yeah, work is okay. So I would say work's a 9 because I ain't there. Physicality, I feel, I would say an 8. I want to feel like a 9, but not there yet. Need a couple more days to heal up. But what I can say is that my body and my shoulders do feel better than they did last week. So
I'm happy to hear that, because
that's
you was having
always
some
good.
hard
Because
times.
yeah, this one I actually hurt, like doing something, pointing at something, and it went away and went to this one, which I didn't hurt, and this one just went downhill.
Yeah,
As
it
she,
went downhill.
my wife would say, just
It
went
went downhill.
downhill. But I'm on the mend though, so I'm good. Wows and woes, what you got? Ups, downs, blacks, whites, stop and goes.
My wow was, just having another beautiful Christmas with you. This was our 21st Christmas.
It was such a beautiful Christmas it was.
Yeah. I know, all the materialism and blah, blah,
Did
blah.
you hear that? 21 Christmases.
Yeah.
21 Christmases we've spent together.
Yeah.
21.
The second one, that's when he asked me to be his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
And wasn't able to make it happen till the 19th?
Yeah, but it happened.
I know, I'm just saying, till the 19th Christmas.
Yeah.
Wow.
The materialism, we know that's not all that it's about, but it's great being able to do things for the people that you love and seeing a smile on their face. And Christmas was really sentimental for my husband, so my wow was seeing him smile and be happy and enjoy, because he really loves Christmas. I like it, I like it, but he really loves Christmas. My woe, I didn't get a chance to spend any time with my babies since October, and it's time. I gotta make up for that. I miss them. So just not. And to be honest, we typically don't see them on Christmas. It's usually a little bit after, so it's not like a thing. But
Just miss them.
Yeah, I just miss them. Have not spent any time with them in almost 2 months, and just looking forward to that. We had some time planned. My goal was to do something with them every month. I mean, of course, I would like to see them more than just once a month, but to do something. November, they were sick, so we kind of had to, push that off. But I think I'm gonna try to make sure I get to see them before the year is out. So that was just my, I miss my pukas, but
right.
Other than that,
thank God we have technology so far that we have FaceTime, where I know it ain't really the same, like being
absolutely.
able to hug on them, but before FaceTime, you couldn't even see their face and interact and talk to them.
And
you always said that that's one of the greatest inventions.
I've told you that for a long time.
So,
FaceTime makes it makes things a little easier, because you're right, you get to see their faces. Talking on the phone is one thing, seeing their faces, their smiles, still being able to see them walk around the house and interact is great, but their little hugs is something
that
else.
Matters.
So, yeah. How about you? Your wows and woes?
My wow is just having a great Christmas. Again, I always like spending my time with my wife. She's my person, and seeing her smile with her gifts, and just us having our Christmas in our home was delightful. Yes. And we had a great day, great Christmas, great so company. Chill. Yeah, and just so chill and relaxed. And despite how things have changed, like peace is just it's priceless. Like it's nothing that I would replace or substitute for peace. Like I just wouldn't. Nothing at all. So that's been that was my wow. My wow was just, why I love Christmas so much is because of my grandmother. And the thought of her around Christmas, especially like me being in my new house for the first Christmas, I would I can see her sitting in one of my chairs and stuff like that. And I know she would have loved my tree. And I just missed the hell out of her. And Christmas makes me think about her, because all my best Christmases when I was a kid was because of her, and it was at her house. So, yeah, the woe is just the thought of her around the holidays. And it made me realize, like so many other people have lost loved ones around the holidays. And, you know, as a kid, the holidays was the shit to you. And I get it now. Like, it's not really the same. But, you know, I got my wife, and she makes it still worth loving. So yeah, that's my well. Blindly believing black women, and I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna start out by saying, in no way, shape, or form do I condone women being hurt, women being beat or abused. If I always want to believe women when they say something happened to them, but you know, just playing devil's advocate, like some women don't tell the truth, and not necessarily white or black. Let me just put that in all women. But in this Meg Thee Stallion case, which we never talked about because we don't give a fuck who was having sex with who or who did what. We don't care about that shit. But there's a narrative around the internet that women are upset because a lot of black men fail to believe some of the stuff that happened that night that ended with Meg being shot. Whether who did it, whether she was actually shot, whether it was shot to the ground and fragments got on her. And a lot of women, mainly black women, because she's black, attacked a lot of black men saying, this is the problem. Y'all are part of the problem. Y'all don't believe when stuff happens to black women. And I get that. But what about, like, you can speak to this, what about the women that don't necessarily always tell the truth? And is that a narrative that you get behind when you see always believe women, always believe black women, always believe, and I guess it comes out in the end, but in the beginning you believe?
I mean, I guess this was when you talk about a narrative, the question was never whether or not she got shot. So I guess that's where, you know, people kind of got lost in the mix.
It was a question whether or not she got shot, whether because she had fragments and she didn't have a bullet hole. So the thing was, did somebody shoot her and who shot her, or did she just catch fragments from the ground?
Okay.
So either way, for me, you got shot. So let me I just want to put all the information out there.
I think where people got lost in the sauce is that the case was about trying to determine if Tory Lanez did it. The fact was that, let's say she got injured, just because she wasn't shot directly, point blank, or the whole bullet wasn't found in her. Somebody discharged a gun. She got a wound because of
she was shot. Yeah.
Right. So again, even if you shot at the ground in an attempt to frighten her or to kind of back her off, a gun was discharged and she was shot.
Injured, right?
Yeah, the fragments, the bullet, whatever happened, there was a wound that occurred because of that action. So I think in some cases when people were trying to negate her story, it's like, wait, like the evidence, the medical records show that her story is her story about her being wounded. Now, I guess the matter of who did it, that's when it's one of those things where they say it's three sides to every story. And in this case, it probably is more than three, because you got her, you got him, you got the friend that was involved. There was a bodyguard who disappeared. They didn't find them. And then you have
but it was mainly between those three.
Yeah, and then
Meg
you have
Stallion, Tory Lanez, and Kelsey.
The actual truth of what happened. So, and when people start to say, if you've never been involved in a legal case, then you probably see it on TV, but you don't realize how dirty it gets. When they start to talk about her sexual escapades and stuff like that, it's like, oh, it don't matter. Well, I mean, no, it doesn't matter. It's not germane to her being shot,
but it
does matter in trying to show her character. Whether and it can be very hurtful, it can get dirty, but it does matter in a court of law to say, and not even so much trying to show her character, but trying to actually prove that, this other woman could have become so angry because of the actions that this person took. So it is all relative to the case.
Right.
When people say believe, and I think that's where it kind of got muddy, because this isn't a case of believing her or not believing her being wounded. The case is whether or not he did it. Now, I think in any situation, not in any, in a lot of situations where there's like a dramatic situation going on, there's been studies that prove that people's perception of what happened
And we're talking about
cannot
people that
be
was on
reality.
alcohol and people who was on cocaine and people who was on weed, and that's all been documented as being in their systems.
And
so we're talking about people who are drugged up too, not even sober. So
and
yeah,
even if you are
change.
sober, you're irate, you're angry, it's a dramatic situation. Add the alcohol, add the drugs, your perception. There's been studies. You remember we watched something where like a man like ran into a crowd and did something. They asked 10 people about what did this man have on, and people were dead set on, oh, he had on a red coat, a red coat, a red coat, and this man had on a yeah. So people's perception in a dramatic situation can be altered, you know,
they say
from reality.
It's the one thing that can put somebody in jail is an eyewitness. But some lawyers say it's the most unreliable piece of evidence,
right?
A witness, because people memory change. People place shit in their memory that is conducive to what they're thinking. I mean, I don't know how it really works, but she's right. It happens, and we did see that study.
And this is another thing too. If you think about it, right, she was shot in the foot, the back of like her heel, which makes me think she wasn't facing a person.
Right. So how could you know? And that's where I was going with this, because it's like all Tory Lanez had to do was create reasonable doubt. He didn't have to prove his innocence. He just had to prove that maybe the girl shot her. Now, if you see two people wrestling with a gun, two of your friends wrestling with a gun, or no, let's say you see your girlfriend with the gun. Oh no. Let me say it how the case was. If you see two people wrestling with a gun, and your back is turned, and a gun goes off, you like, oh shit, I got shot. Let's say whoever had the gun, I'm wrestling with him, but by the time you turn around, I took it away from him. So now you see me standing there with the gun after you got shot. 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, oh, you shot me. You're not going to say the person without the gun shot you. You're going to think the person with the gun shot you. And that's how it seemed like in reading what was going on, how it happened. But to get back to the believe women, it's like when you were saying that to prove her character, it matters like who she was sleeping with and all that kind of stuff, because now you're in court and you have to prove your character. But when they say like the narrative is pushed, like you should believe people, when you have like a case like a Chris Brown last year who said that a girl said like he raped me, and a week later he puts up the text messages that say I love the D, you was the best, I want to come back for more. It's like everybody can rally around that woman and all women to say, believe her, he did it, believe her, he did it. But then when he shows evidence that he didn't and she drops charges, where's the rally at for being labeled a rapist? Like that believing stuff, because nobody rallies around a man when he's exonerated, when he actually didn't do no sexual abuse. Like, where is that? Like that kind of if you just believe from the jump, then everybody's perception of what happened is going to be what it is. And then when it changes and it comes out that nothing really happened, that perception is still there.
In some cases, I mean, I will say in that case, so one thing I want to say, let's remove black from the equation, because I don't think this is anything that is just specific to black women. I think white women have.
There was a hashtag that was saying believe black women, so that's where it came from.
Yeah, I think white women, it's even worse, because we know that they're known to cry their crocodile tears in a drop of a hat when, you know, somebody blows the wind in their direction. You know, somebody sneezes too loud and it's like, oh my God, he tried to attack me. So I think it's one of those things where we're so meaning society, are so inclined to label black women as so many things that we forget that they're women, that they're soft, that they're feminine, that they're delicate. I know we got the strong, independent black women thing going on too, but sometimes people put that lens on and it supersedes the femininity, the soft part
which
of
makes
us.
people look past your pain.
Exactly. So like you have situations of black women in maternal situations where maternal fetal death rates are higher for black women because people don't believe black women when they say that they're in pain. It's like, oh, the strong black woman, you're supposed to be able to endure, or you've proven that you can endure so much. When we do voice our pain or our sorrow or us being troubled, it's like, you'll be all right, because and sometimes it's to our own detriment that we do put up this wall of, we can handle it, we got this, we used to the struggle, we can make it out the struggle. But that don't mean we don't want people to care or to possibly reach out and lend a hand. In the case of, women, because especially when you're talking about entertainment and entertainers, they are subject to those sort of charges across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Kobe Bryant, the girl that said, the white girl in Colorado that said he raped her in the butt years ago.
Right.
And it is unfortunate that those labels do kind of stick, because no matter what the result of the allegation is, that's kind of going to precede your reputation.
But that's where it comes into the whole believe women first. And it's like, why can't we as men, I'm speaking as a man, be like, whoa, like, what's the facts? Like, what's wrong with asking what's the facts of something if a woman says he raped me? Like, what's wrong with that? It's like, and I want you to speak from a woman perspective, like school me. Like, what is wrong with not believing first and just saying, whoa, what happened?
Well, I think it's a very fine line that you have to walk.
I'm sorry not to cut you, but you're right. If it comes out that nothing happened and I didn't do anything and I was accused of something, then where's the rally behind, yo, this dude was innocent, give him his life back? It's like, now, yeah, it didn't happen, but some people still won't think you're a rapist because they know you had them charges.
It's a very fine line that you have to walk between choosing to ask questions and choosing to negate someone's claims.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, everybody, no matter what the situation, should be given. It's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. The accused, you want to believe that they're innocent until proven guilty. But in saying that, that means that you're saying that the accuser is lying until you prove that they aren't. Right. So it's like, you can't have this innocent until, everything is this innocent until proven guilty mentality, because then again, you're calling the accuser or the liar if you're saying this person is innocent.
Well, so wouldn't that just be like, okay, a woman says he raped me, and you say, what happened? And she substantiates, he did this, and this, and that. Okay, fine. You raped her. Like, why is that, like, it's bad? It's not saying that the accuser is lying. It's just saying, let's substantiate the claim. Because if you are lying, which we know some women do, then this is going to have the ramifications on his life will be like, you can't reverse this.
And see, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions. Again, I just think it's a way that is approached when the questions are asked, to say, okay, can you explain to me what happened? Like, how did this happen?
Right.
Because one, you're acknowledging what the person said happened, but to have an approach and say, nah, how could he rape you? Like, now that's a completely different approach, because you're giving the your implication that I don't believe this.
You're not validating what that person said. So I agree.
Right.
I'm thinking that when you say, okay, what happened, and you have that accuser retell the story, that's a bad thing, because you should just believe what they're saying. Don't make them relive what happened to them, because they're the victim. And if you dare ask them what happened and make them walk you through that, like what that does to them mentally. And it's like, I just want to get it right.
It's true. It does. It can be really horrific to have to relive that, but it's necessary. It's an ugly evil. It's an evil necessity.
A necessary evil.
Yeah, a necessary evil. That I said an evil necessary. It's a necessary evil that you do have to ask those questions. But to just take somebody's word for it without the details, not saying take somebody's word for it and automatically believe or disbelieve. It's unfortunate that as humans we're going to form an opinion, but and I know this all too well, in life some situations will present itself where you have no idea, you can't make a judgment, or I won't say you can't, but making that judgment, it becomes extremely difficult.
Right.
So but as humans, it's in our human nature, when when anybody says anything to you, your mind automatically either believes it or don't believe it.
Right.
You know,
depending on
no
what
matter
was in front
what
of you.
it says, like, oh, you know, did you know this was the 1000th lighter that was purchased? You're gonna be thinking, is that true? Your thought, no matter what it is about anything, you're going to either
Analyze it and think
immediately
that, right.
decide I believe that or I don't, or question it. So as humans, if an event happens, we automatically form an opinion. It's a shame. Like they say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Doesn't mean that everybody should be pulled out.
But don't you? But so what about the men? Like, I mean, all the dudes who touch women, rape women, and you guys should be behind bars and,
I hope they're
fucked
not
up,
watching
and your
this. We
skin
don't
should
need
be
your
off.
viewers.
Yeah, your skin should be taken off. But speaking for the men who are being, and like, you can say this because you're a woman. You know women lie. You know women do some crazy shit. What about those men? Like, there's no cry, there's no rally once you've been accused of some shit and it comes out a year later, yo, he didn't do nothing. She was tripping. And now for the rest of your life, you just looked at as that person.
Well,
and it's like, damn, there's a rally behind the victim of she was beat or she was raped or sexually abused. But when it comes out that, damn, she was lying, like she made that shit up,
you know
where's
what
the rally behind
you
the
know
dude?
what men have to do though, and I guess it's this sort of machismo kind of thing of just taking it on the chin, or just wanting your true reputation to precede you. But men need to take it to the same extreme. If you know for sure this woman is lying on you, when it comes out, flip the script. Now you take her to court.
So
but
I guess I'm asking from black women, because the narrative is black men don't come to the rescue of black women. That's what this whole conversation was based behind. So why don't the black women come to the men when they exonerated, when they know a girl was lying? Like, if y'all want us to
I don't think we hear those many situations though. That's part of,
but
also
that's another problem, because it's the man, so that's why you don't hear it that much.
And that exactly. So I think the men need to speak up too and let it be known that don't just take it on the chin. Speak up for it. Now, I can't say that black men don't come to the rescue of black women, because the black men.
But have you heard that narrative?
Of course, okay. But I'm just saying, this is another thing too. People are relying, when they say black men don't show up, people are relying on men that you don't know. Worry about the men that's in your life. And as long as they're respecting you, they're supporting you, they're protecting you, you know, other men showing up for you. Why are you relying on strangers? You don't know how they were raised. You don't know what their morals and ethics are. If you look into the Joe Buttons of the world, and no shade, I like Joe, but I'm saying these are the people that people are looking at to say, oh, well, they're don't worry about them. Worry about the men in your immediate circle. Make sure that they're loving you and respecting you and protecting you and teaching you and guiding you and providing for you. You know, men who you don't know. I mean, that's like, I could, you know, when I walk into a store, I have had to train myself to stop waiting for other men to hold the door for me. One, I don't want no man to say nothing out of pocket to me and my husband not with me. And two, I had to realize that every man ain't my husband. When I walk up to any building of any kind that has a door, I step to the side because my husband opens the door for me. And it just comes second nature. So I have had to train myself to stop looking to other men to do that.
But let's just say a scenario happens where you're out, you're in Wawa getting coffee, and it's 4 black guys in there and a white guy, and you getting a bagel, and he jumps in front of you, and you're like, you know, I was next, and he slaps you. And none of the black guys do anything. They just like pull their phones out and go, damn, you call me. I come over there and do what I got to do. But you wouldn't feel no type of way about, damn, like, I'm a fucking sister and y'all fucking whipped y'all phone out when y'all seen this white man slap me. Now, my husband came and did his thing, and I'm cool because the white man got what he wanted. But y'all this is what y'all did? Like, as black men?
I don't think I'm going to have that.
If being honest, you wouldn't feel no type of way.
I don't think I would even look at it as a black. If it was a white man there, and if it was no black men, it was other white men, and the white men didn't do anything, I would feel like, damn, y'all cowards. Like, I mean, I think part of me would feel like y'all cowards, and y'all didn't, you know, even try to attempt to stop him. Half of me thinks that, but then the other half, we live in such a mind your business world. I don't think I would be surprised, but I'm not looking to the black men to be like, oh, y'all let this white man do this to me. I'm not.
Wow. How about if he was like hitting you and they didn't stop him?
Yeah, a man, period.
Right.
But just because
but I'm just
they
saying
black
that
men,
scenario, if you got up off the ground after this guy hitting you 4 or 5 times and none of them went over to grab him, he just stopped on his own, or some women stopped him, you wouldn't be like, damn, none of y'all fucking
just because they black, no. Like,
okay.
Yeah, just because they black, no. If it's men in there, period. If I'm in a Wawa, you know, up in the area that's all white, I would hope that other men would stop them. Just because they're black, I'm not looking at it like, oh, I expect y'all to like pull out your black glove and put your fist up for me. I wouldn't look at it like that. Like I
you
and maybe
no type of way that I was in the store, some white man hit me, and 4 fucking brothers, you know, 2 of y'all grown, 2 of y'all might be young, and none of y'all fucking pulled this man off of me. Like,
just because they're black, no. Just because they're men, yes. Because they're black, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're men, yes. Because they're black, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't feel, no kind of. I mean, and that's sad. Maybe my expectations are like it ain't that kind of.
I think I would come there and whoop ass, and then I would turn around and want to whoop their ass. Like, none of y'all motherfuckers, like, y'all sitting here, y'all black dudes, and y'all see this black girl getting beat the fuck up by this white dude, and none of y'all break it up.
But that's
like I want smoke with them.
But what if it was a black dude that attacked me? Like,
then it's a different story. But in that scenario that I laid on the table, that makes it a racial thing, because it's like, yeah, I want to beat the man whether he purple, green, orange, or not who hit you. But when I turn around and was like, what happened? He was like, well, they was taping it and it's on their phones, and I look and it's 4 or 5 black dudes, and none of y'all pulled this dude off my wife. Y'all just filmed it and said, damn. No, I want to smoke with them.
Yeah, but I hear
for
what
that
you're saying.
reason.
I would want you to want to smoke with them because they're men in general.
Right. If they were 4 white men, I would want to smoke. But even if they 4 black men, I really want to smoke, because damn, she a sister. Like, how y'all gonna do some shit like that? Like, that's crazy. I don't have to know the person that if I seen a white dude beating the shit out of a black lady in a Wawa, I'ma stop him.
But if it was a black dude, you would
I'ma stop him too. Yeah. But definitely, because of, like, why are you beating this black lady up? Nah, you can't just like.
No, if it was a white dude beating up a white lady,
I'ma stop him.
Okay.
I'ma stop him. I'm just saying it's gonna have a different edge if it's a white dude beating a black lady. I'm just gonna have a different edge. I can't stand there as a black man and just let this white dude slap this black lady. I wouldn't be able to do that. So do you think you get behind that narrative of believe women? Since we took the black out of it, just believe women. When you know in your heart, not a lot of cases, but there's some, if we're being honest, that women do lie.
Women, people in general lie. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily have this thing in my mind. No, so I have a double standard. When it comes to sexual abuse, when it comes to children, not even just children, I don't think.
We're talking about grown people.
I know that, but I was going to say, I don't even know if it's just relegated to children. I think in that case, you kind of feel like, why would somebody lie about it? Even though we just said we know that people do lie. But I think with adults, I'm more, I don't automatically disbelieve them. But if I have to have an opinion, then I do want more information. And I probably lean closer to believing them than not.
But as a woman, if you had a friend to call you and say this happened and she's crying and I got, some guy I was dating raped me. You saying, okay, what happened doesn't come off me. But if that's told to a man and they say, okay,
no, but see, happened? I think that just because somebody asks what happened, that's not. indicative that you don't believe them. Like, you're asking what happened, but it's all about how, like, it's how you say. Now, if you say like, oh my God, what did you do to him? Or like, if you just ask what happened, that is completely fine to ask anybody. Saying what happened is truly wanting to know what happened. Like, how did this happen? Where were you? What led up to it? Like, what are the details of the situation? So just blankly asking what happened is not a problem. If somebody has a problem with that, then I'm gonna feel like you are lying. Like, why? Who wouldn't want to ask what happened?
Right.
Now, if you ask how did you let this happen, or where were you, or what did you? If your questions are alluding to me potentially being at fault because this happened, and that's where it can get kind of shady. But just blanketly asking what happened is not a problem with that.
Right.
Or at least it shouldn't be.
So when you ask, so you shouldn't ask the questions of the hard questions of, okay, you saying this guy rapes you, what happened? And then you say what happened, and then you say, okay, were you flirting? Because
doesn't matter.
I know, but I'm just saying, you as a man, it's like you want to do the checkpoints and be like, I want to know everything. And I know that kind of question is kind of insensitive and it's alluding to you did something wrong. But if you just look at it from the standpoint of was I or wasn't I, and tell the truth, it's not a judgment question.
But I feel like it's unnecessary. Like, because regardless of what the answer is, what does it matter? So I think that's the question.
Because I guess to a man, I want to know what state of mind he was in. Because regardless of what happened, he's wrong. But I want to know whether he did this out of like, oh, he just did it out of his own thing, or you thought something was going to happen.
So as a person like who's asking,
the devil's in the details.
I get it, and wanting to know, like, was he just some crazy person that randomly attacked you, or was there any interaction? But there's a different way to ask that. So let's not. So if you were to have to ask that question to somebody, not to say, were you flirting? Were y'all flirting with each other?
Okay,
that's a different way to answer, because were you flirting implies again that the woman was doing something
right. Okay, and this is what I'm learning. This is schooling me, because
were y'all flirting with each other? Did y'all have any interaction prior to this? Were there any words exchanged? What was his disposition towards you, if any, prior to this happening? Did you know that he was in the room? So you're still getting to the same answers, other than just asking, were you flirting? What did you do? What did you say? What did you have on? Because.
But I still feel like those are questions that need to be worded in a language that because you need those answers. Because if we're going up the route of we're putting this person in jail, we're going to be in court, and everything that you're not telling me, they're going to say.
You need those
so when
details.
You don't tell me, oh, you was flirting and you was doing this, and then his lawyers say you were, it kind of catches me off guard.
But again, it's a difference in, were you flirting with him, or were y'all flirting together?
Did y'all have a relationship
or like interaction? Did y'all have any interaction with each other? It's like you said, it's the devil in the details, but it's all about how you go about getting those details. So I think that too is where, like, the questions that you're asking, maybe those are questions that other people need to ask, and not only that. And I know this is something that we all do because it's social media. It's public information. It's broadcast in front of us. Sometimes we just
gotta mind. This has been going on for 2 years. It's the first time we talked about this.
Yeah, but sometimes people, like, because you look at these posts where people put it, and I love, like, Little Duval, who would say, like, people just need to fall back and let stories play themselves out, because we truly need to mind our business until we have the facts, because that's one of the issues I think with this case is this played out in the court of opinion before it ever reached court. Mm-hmm. So no matter what would have transpired in that courtroom.
You think social media swayed the decision?
I think people, not social media, the public already formed an opinion. So those jurors already had an opinion in their mind. Now, unfortunately, social media is the news outlet that many people are through which many people are receiving the news rather than like, you know, your channel 6 and channel 10s. So as they're hearing the story, Tory Lanez shot Megan, Tory Lanez shot Megan, Tory Lanez made a song about shooting Megan, Tory Lanez got a restraining order, he can't come near Megan, or Tory Lanez can't talk about Megan, Tory Lanez shot Megan. Now once you get to court, no matter what they say, that's what's been playing in your head for 2 years. Now let me ask you this. Do you think if he would have, and I don't know if this is where like the no snitching thing comes into play, if he would have went to court and clearly stated that he didn't shoot her and that the other girl did, that could have potentially saved him? But do you think that in an attempt to not be being labeled as a snitch, he didn't do that?
Yeah, and also he could have did it and took the stand. But if he took the stand, that would implicate him, and he could have just said on the stand that the girl shot her. And which, again, he approached it as, I don't have to prove my innocence. I just have to prove that there's doubt that I did it.
And that was a bad approach,
I
think,
don't
on
understand how
lawyers.
You're convicted. And I'm not, the girl was shot. I don't, you know, I'm not saying who shot who. I don't understand how the girl Kelsey can have gunshot residue on both arms and he can have none. And he still get convicted. I don't understand that.
Because again, that's a prime example. Because if you think about it, we heard about stories.
And also, this guy jumps out of a car with no shirt on. So if you fire a gun with no shirt on, how do you not have gunshot residue on you?
So this is again a situation where we knew about her girlfriend, and we knew it was like some contention between them. Not really sure why or how. We never heard that it was a possibility that she shot her until court. Now, had that been played out in the public through social media or other outlets, primarily social media, over the last 2 years, that is what could potentially have swayed, because you would have had some people saying, oh, we're not really sure. Trying to do it in the courtroom, it was too late.
Right.
People already had their minds made up.
And his narrative was to kind of push the guilt. His story, when I read it, was at the time in the car, he told Meg Thee Stallion that Kelsey has been fucking all the guys that you've been fucking, including me, which he was like the fifth guy. That would be a motive for her to be that mad to shoot her.
Right.
And why would she have gunshot residue?
No. It was opposite. You told Kelsey that Meg has been
fucking all the guys you've been fucking, including me, because Tori and Kelsey was fucking first.
Right.
So it's like she's jumping behind you, fucking all the guys that you're fucking. That gave her motive and made her mad enough for him to say, okay, that's what could have happened.
From the beginning, though, again, when you get into these situations where it's like, oh, I don't want to be a snitch, I don't want to tell. If he would have told what happened from the beginning, that the girl had shot her, if that's what happened, then again,
his mindset was just, I didn't do it.
Exactly.
I didn't do it. The whole 2 years was
just,
and he thought that
maybe if he's telling the truth, like he said, he thought planting that seed of doubt would have freed them, and they were wrong, because people's opinion, while he was saying he didn't do it, people had already took one side or the other. Right. There was no alternative side that was planted in people's head, because Kelsey was never mentioned as the potential suspect throughout this. We knew they were friends. We knew they had some beef. Nobody never really knew why they had beef until this all happened. So it was too late.
So do you think he was wrongfully convicted, being as though he had no residue and she had it on both arms? Just that alone, because anybody who fires a gun, you have GSR on you. That's science.
It sounds like it.
Especially if you don't have on a shirt.
It sounds like it, but at the same time, I feel like he didn't save himself. Like, that whole no snitching.
I understand that part of it, but I'm just saying he didn't actually do it, is what I'm saying.
Well, the court said he did.
I know the court said OJ didn't do it. We all know he did, and that's what I'm saying. If he didn't have gunshot residue, the evidence says he didn't fire a gun. So although the court convicted him because of his stupid defense.
Well, guess what? That's what I'm saying. It was too late for that, though.
I understand
so, yes,
that,
I do.
but
I think he was wrongly convicted. I do.
That's what I'm saying. If we go back to that night, who fired the gun?
I think the girlfriend did it.
I do too, and that's what I'm saying. If she had gunshot residue on both arms, which means to me, you held the gun like this and shot with both arms. If you got no shirt on and got none, to me as a cop, I'm gonna be like, he didn't fire a gun.
Yeah, but again.
And you're right. His stupid defense got him convicted. And
yeah.
Now you're in that boat where you're facing 23 years.
They should have told him, if you know what happened, you need to say it. You need to say it. And again, unfortunately, the jurors, I know there was one situation with one juror, and I don't know all the details, but I know like they had pulled her aside, but I don't think she was excused. But people had already formed their opinions before. It took 2 years.
Right.
And them trying to impose injunctions to stop people from talking, it was too late. It was too late. Like,
right.
People had already started talking. So to take this to court, this should have been a case where I wonder if it was, what's the trial called where it's a judge that makes the decision rather than a jury?
I can't think of it right now,
but
it's not a trial. It's not a trial. You just go in front of the judge and he's the discretionary person.
Yeah.
I can't think of the legal name.
I wonder if the judge using all of the legalities presented and their jurisprudence, if they would have had a different verdict.
Right.
Other than people who aren't legal experts. I think jury duty is one of the stupidest things.
And you're right.
That's
if you go for 2
society.
years with that narrative in the news and you see it every other day or once or twice a week, you do form an opinion. And the jurors are a part of the public. They didn't pluck these people from Mars.
Yeah.
These people come from jobs and shit where they had water cooler talk about this, and all of a sudden you're on a jury.
I think jury duty is a bad part of the justice system, because you have people in situations like this, you form one opinion or another, but then you have some people whose real ethics and morals guide their decisions before they even hear a court case.
Yep.
They are automatically, they know what side they're going to fall on. If it's like a sexual abuse case, if it's like a domestic violence case, I don't think jury duty is an efficient process in America. Right. Do other countries utilize jury duty?
I don't think so. I think that's a democracy thing that America just has. Other countries aren't with democracies. They don't have shit like that. Governments and courts and juries. Like in other countries, people are tried and killed in one day.
Well, I mean, you got countries that are more progressive, like Germany and Italy and stuff like that.
I don't think they have jurors, though. I think they have a dude, and that's it.
A dude.
Like the gavel dude, that's
a judge.
Yeah, and that's
dude.
it. But again, this case has been going on for 2 years. It finally concluded, and this is the first time we hashed it all out. I don't think the guy shot the girl based on the fact that he didn't have gunshot residue. That's the only reason why I say he didn't fire a gun, is because everybody else in the world prior to this that ever fired a gun had gunshot residue on them. They tested the girl, she had it on both arms. To me, that's clear cut, but obviously I'm not a part of the case, and that's just that. Yeah. Believe all women?
No, I don't think you should just blindly believe anybody. I think you should ask for evidence. Not evidence. I think you should ask for information. Substantiate somebody's claim. Doesn't mean disbelieve, but it does mean, again, take it. There's certain people in your life who would never make a false claim about somebody, but if you don't truly know somebody's character, I think you're a fool to blindly believe all women.
Right. Okay, and I'm on the side that she's on. She schooled me with a couple of things I didn't know, and appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you. We talked about this before on a couple shows ago, but I was watching a podcast and they was talking.
You were watching a podcast?
This is what I do.
All day.
What's your thoughts on suicide now that we have, in no way, shape, or form are we suicidal? In no way, shape, or form, but as you live life, as you've been kicked around, as I say, I've had enough pain to be wise now. Do you think and I know your religion and all that stuff, but do you think that you look at suicide, and I know we talked about it in a different way, where it's not that, like, we notice that we're selfish in it, and that some people actually, like, do you believe that some people actually, like, I don't condemn a person who does that anymore, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes, do you really think like people just know when they want out? Not
Um,
necessarily something happened and it's the pain of something and I can't take it no more, or I'm drugged out and I can't take it no more. Even that's to a small degree, but I'm not really talking about those people. But I'm just talking about the people who just, like, leading up to it, they wrote little things like what my next life will be like, or and shit like that, and just gave things away, like, and they just knew in them that this day is my last.
so well, what is your question?
So, does that make you think different about suicide? Like, I'm not, like, it's not the worst thing in the world like everybody says it is.
No, I still think that it is, and I think that even for those, I think, people, it was always this stigma about suicide being so selfish on part of the
Right,
person who
right,
was, ending their own life. And I think that it's a selfish thought for us who are left, as survivors of people that commit suicide, if that's the right word. Um, because, we think to ourselves, damn, like, how much could they have been going through for us to look at them as being selfish? We are actually the ones being selfish. We're thinking about
correct.
ourselves and how that impacts us instead of thinking about how their life was impacted. However, I never feel like it's the solution. I feel like for those people, there, it's one of them things where, like, you think, damn, I wish that, I don't know anybody that has committed suicide personally. I can imagine, like, feeling like you just wish you could have helped. You wish you could have known. You wish you could have made a phone call at that moment where you may not have even realized that you were saving them. Like, I don't feel like, while I no longer feel like it's as selfish on their part, I still don't ever feel like it's the solution. And it's one of them things where it's it's almost like you wish you could stop everybody, or you wish that everybody could have like a moment to change their mind. But I do think differently in the sense of, it's not so much selfish on their part. It's, unfortunately, they got to a point where they probably felt like they were doing their families a
Right,
favor
right,
in
right.
doing it,
It
unfortunately.
makes me think about the gravity of what they felt, because, like you said, just think about the scenario of it. If you had a friend that was going to do that, you wouldn't call them and be like, "Hey, are you going to kill yourself?"
No, no, no.
So what I'm saying is, no matter what conversation you had with them, if their mind was made up, then that's what I'm saying. It's not like a depression thing where you can actually tell somebody it's going to get better. But if their mind is made up and they're suicidal, and nothing you say is going to stop what they have planned or what they're going to do, then it doesn't matter what conversation you had with them, because they made their mind up that I don't want to be here no
Well,
more.
that I don't agree with that. I think there are sometimes
Because
things
what
that
about the people who, oh, I just talked to her or just talked to him and they was fine. I told them I loved them. They told me they loved me. Everything was good. I had no idea. And 2 days later they did something, because it didn't matter what you said to them. It didn't matter what you said. They made their mind up that 2 days from now I'm out of here, that I'm going to do this and I don't want to be here no more. Whether it be I've done enough, I've seen enough, I've felt enough,
I mean, that
I'm
may be
out.
true for some people, but I think for some people, there is a window that you may not even realize that you could have stopped something.
Right.
It could be a friend,
I'm not
or,
saying there's not, but okay.
yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think you may have some people that you're right. No,
I'm
they
just
they
trying to
may have
acknowledge both. Like,
reached a point where there's nothing that anybody can say, do, move, lift, whatever, that will stop them. And then you may have those people that you may save unknowingly. You might have a
right,
friend or family member who you decide, let me go see what's up with Carl today. And you pull up, What's up? What you doing? I'm outside. Won't you put something on? Come grab a bite to eat with me. Carl may have been going through something, had a bottle of pills in his hand ready to take them. And for him, that might be a moment where now you may have delayed the process, or he might be like, God, I know that was you.
Mm-hmm. He might have been asking for a sign, and then you pull up and honk the
Yeah.
horn. That's the sign.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I'm
just
trying
saying,
to acknowledge both, because there is people who go through that, and then there are people who are always on the news. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know. They seemed fine. Like, I just talked to them a week ago. They were fine, and then this happens, and it's like, damn. Like a guy like Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you would think. His wife was like, we ain't had no argument. We wasn't beefing about nothing. Like, whatever he said was in the note, that's bullshit, because he didn't express that to me. So what was he so worried about? And then all of a sudden you take your life. It's like, damn. But it's like, no matter what anybody said or did or how happy shit was, once you make your mind up, it's a wrap.
Well, let's also acknowledge that suicide is not just like
and it's not the solution. I'm not saying that.
Well,
at all. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying to the people. I'm not like pro-suicide. I'm just saying it's making me think about the gravity of it and that stigma behind, oh, that's the worst thing in the world, and how could they do that?
But let's also acknowledge that suicidal ideation is a true diagnosis, like a mental illness that people deal with. So in a lot of cases, it's not. I would, and I don't have any facts to substantiate this, but I would bet money, and I don't gamble. I would bet money that a person that has committed suicide, that wasn't their first time having a thought, and they just carried it out. It's something that builds up. Maybe they try a little bit, maybe they think about it for a while, maybe, and then maybe they get better. And I say that loosely, but maybe think life turns around for them a little bit. But it's something that they revisit in their mind, because there's a lot of people that deal with mental health issues. Not everybody that deals with mental health issues has suicidal ideations.
Wow.
So it's a difference in how people, deal with things and get past things. I have had some dark times in my life. Suicide, I have never thought. You know what? I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not gonna blatantly say that. There has been one time in my life where I thought to myself, my heart, my soul ached so bad. I thought to myself, if I drive off the bridge, I won't hurt no more. I won't have to be sad. I won't have to cry. And it was like me going through fertility, what we call baby blues. Like one time in my life, and like I'm thinking like that's the oh baby, oh, I didn't mean to make you emotional. You okay? Like, that was the one time in my life I ever thought that. And through all of the dark times and hard times and things that I felt and been through, that's not like a recurring thought in my head. Now, unfortunately, for some people that go through things, that's something that stays with them. So I'm not saying everybody that deals with mental health stuff, baby,
go ahead, keep talking.
That's not to say that, everybody that deals with mental health issues, they think of that route. And just because it might pop in your head like, man, I don't want to be here no more, it doesn't truly mean that you're suicidal. Now, there are some people that it's a threat, like a serious, viable threat in their life that could happen, at I don't want to say at any time, but it's something that could happen should things fall out of place. So with that being said, like people like Twitch, his family may say, oh, we were good, but it was something there. Like, I would bet he had a psychologist he was going to. He may have been taking psychotropic medications, for things that he may have been dealing with, or maybe not. But I would bet that there was some type of mental health issue going on, and he didn't just all of a sudden wake up from doing happy dances, every day of his life with his family to shooting himself. Like, I'm not buying that at all. I think even if they were happy in that moment on the outside and his wife thought everything was 100% okay, if somebody look at his history, he had some things going on.
Right. And I can't think of the guy's name that Charlamagne just talked to when I was telling you about who tried to commit suicide. But I found out that he had a girlfriend who committed suicide earlier in life.
Who Twitch did?
No.
The guy
that Charlamagne was talking to, his girlfriend, maybe 10 years prior to him doing it, had committed suicide. And he said he hated like the people who committed suicide. He thought it was a coward thing. Even after his girl did it, he thought it was like such a cowardly thing. And he was like, that's, it's bullshit for a person to do. Why he get drunk and high one day, I guess, the trauma of her passing, threw himself off a freeway and a car broke his fall. And instantly, like that, he was like, I believe in a higher power and I know he want me to be here because I tried to commit suicide and I lived. And like just like that, it just makes you like a total mind shift.
But think about what you said. When people say it's a cowardly thing to do, you know how brave you gotta be to throw yourself off of a freeway. Unfortunately, the young lady Chelsea, I can't remember her last name, who threw herself off of a building.
You talking about I'm trying to cut you off. You talking about a pregnant pause? Charlamagne asked this guy, well, I don't mean to be insensitive. How did you do it? And he said, I threw myself off a freeway. And like he just like, what? Like, how did a car broke my fall? Like a moving car broke your fall. Like how does that?
That's like some movie stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's just crazy. What was you saying about?
But yeah, like the girl Chelsea who jumped off a building. Very unfortunate, very sad, very traumatic. But when people say cowardly, I mean, maybe you could say cowardly like they didn't want to face the world anymore, but that act in of itself,
not cowardly.
No, it's unfortunate.
To climb a freeway pole with cars driving underneath it and jump. Are you fucking crazy?
I would just hope and pray that people who have that sort of bravery in the moment, also, I hope that they can transform that into being brave enough to seek help. Be brave enough to walk yourself into a clinic and say, I'm not thinking right in the head. I have a friend, and it just made me think, because I think she might be the only person I ever knew that did this. I'll never forget, and I don't want to give too many details because people who watch this may know her. But we worked together, and she was feeling a little, she was a little weird. And it's like, what's up? Like, you're usually happy and jolly and blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, she was leaving work early because she wasn't feeling good. Well, come to find out, she had went and 302 herself. Now, unbeknownst to me and others, she had been dealing with some mental health issues like previously, but she said she felt in those moments, like it was for probably a couple days, she was like, people kept saying to her that she wasn't herself, and she knew she was feeling it, but when she realized that it was becoming obvious to other people, she knew that she needed to get help. That was brave to me. Like, wow. Like, that, because you
know what's in your head. Yeah. You know what's in your head, and don't nobody know how strong you are but you. And you know what can break you down or what's heavy on you and what's not and what you can carry. And I always like recognize that now. You just never know what people are carrying. You just never know. Moving off that, what have you learned?
I got some good learning for you.
Oh, Jesus.
So, a couple questions. This is talking about emotional. We had a very emotional year. Not bad altogether, just very emotional. So, let me ask you, about how many times a year do you cry, do you think? You may not know off the top of your head.
Out of 365?
How many times a year?
I would say 250.
250 days?
Yeah. I cry a lot, babe. You don't notice that?
No, I don't mean like a momentary cry over like a commercial or something like that, but like a real cry.
Oh, a real cry?
Like a real crying episode.
100?
Wow. So on average, women cry. Okay, well, first let me start over. There's 3 types of tears?
No.
Okay, so we have basal tears. They keep our eyes lubricated. We have reflex tears, which we cry in response to physical triggers. And then we have like dust or onions. And then we have emotional tears. Okay, so this is related to emotional tears. Women, on average, cry 30 to 64 times a year. So you figure it's 12
My
months.
estrogen must be up.
It's 12 months. But I'm talking about like not just the commercial. Like, well, like something like you're sad, like something. So you figure 64, that's 5 times, like a little more than 5 times a month. That's a lot. That's that's a lot.
That's an emotional fucking person.
30 to 64. Men, compared to men who say 5 to 17 times a year.
I think I cry more than 5 to 7. I don't know if it's 100. I was being facetious, but 5 to 17 times a year.
5 ain't enough.
No, I know I cry more than that. I would say
17 is like
I would say between 12 and 17 or 12 and 20 because I know I cry once a month, and I would say it's 12 months in a year, so I would definitely give myself 12.
Do you purposely cry once a month?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't be wanting to hold shit in.
Okay.
So if I gotta cry, I cry. Like whether I'm sad about us or I'm sad about about my grandmother, my daughter, like anything, I'll cry. But so I would give myself 12 just because it's 12 months in a year.
Okay. So 12 to 24?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So and that was a study of more than 7,000 people in 37 countries. Now babies, right? Just the last part. About on average, how much time a day do you think a 6-week-old baby cries?
How much time a day? 6 hours.
No, that's a lot of damn crying. 2.25 hours. So 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, you know what? My initial thought was they sleep 17 hours a day.
So you got 7 hours left.
So you got 7 hours left. So yeah, that seems about right. I should have went with my first instinct.
So they cry about 2.25 hours, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes a day. And then it kind of dwindles down after that to when they're about 12 weeks, they cry about 68 minutes. So it falls to like half of that. And that was done, that was a study of 8,700 infants worldwide. Babies cry the most in the UK, Canada, and Italy. And they cry the least in Denmark, Germany, and Japan.
And in Europe, y'all putting them babies in the cold, making them sleep. Yeah. That's why they're crying.
But that's what I learned about crying.
I learned about food stamps, right? So I saw this on the internet where a person went to the market and bought lamb and pork belly and lobster and steaks and spent $631 on an EBT card, and they still had $1,800 left on it. I didn't know like that could happen, and I don't understand why it's happening. Like, I'm cool with paying taxes and stuff like that, but that seems a little excessive. And that's just my opinion. That shit seems really excessive for somebody to be stacking up food stamps on a card like that. I remember years ago, a drug dealer in my neighborhood got locked up. He was a really big drug dealer, and they raided one of his houses, and this is back when you had the books with food stamps with the 1s and the 5s and the 10s and the 20s. And he had $96,000 in food stamps. And I remember thinking, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. But so when I see something like a person can go in the market, spend $631 on an EBT card, and this is not out of no hate, because I could do the same shit. But I'm just saying, it seems a little excessive for a person needing assistance to be able to go spend $631 on pork belly and lamb and lobster and steaks and still have $1,800 left on the card. Like,
but you know what that sounds like? It just seems
like it's a glitch in the system where maybe we're giving a little too much, or this person probably doesn't need it at all. I don't know.
That sounds to me like maybe somebody sold their food stamps, and like somebody that owns a restaurant bought them, because who's buying pork belly? Like, I mean, pork belly. But no, everybody don't know how to cook pork belly. Like, it sounds like somebody got.
But if you're of a certain ethnicity, of a certain culture,
and you know,
Italian.
But lobster, lamb, pork belly, it's like somebody cooking for a restaurant.
It could be.
Like, they done bought somebody food stamps, and that's what they're doing.
But I'm
but
just
let me tell you this.
Excessive.
So, do you know, this is kind of tight. So this is for food stamp benefits in PA, right? So if you have a household size, let's just say of 6, so you're a parent and with 5 kids, Your maximum gross monthly income. Do you know what it has to be in order for you to qualify for food stamps?
Your gross income, $2,000.
With 6 kids, with 5 kids and an adult, no.
Well, why are they helping you?
$6,200.
Okay.
Now that's gross. So you think 3,100 every 2 weeks. So you figure after taxes, you're probably bringing home $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So $2,000 every 2 weeks.
So $4,000
with 5
a month.
kids, and then so that's the maximum that you can make to qualify.
So you're $4,000 a month that you make, and now what do you get?
Well, you get. It doesn't say how much you get.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So you qualify.
Yeah.
So at that kind of money, what do you think? Do you think you're in the middle? You think you're at the very bottom where you qualify for the least, or you qualify for
that's the most you can make. That's your maximum.
Right. So that's the most you can make. But how much does that qualify you for what they give?
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Is
that on the low end, whereas though you make $4,000 a month, you qualify for $102 in food stamps?
Well, yeah, it's probably on the low end.
That's what I'm saying. Or does it mean you make $4,000 a month, you qualify for $600 a month in food stamps? Like, why? That's what I want to know. Like, what's the?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the maximum amount that you can make.
Okay.
Right. So that's
which is not bad money.
I mean, it's not bad money.
With 5 kids, it is.
Yes, exactly. Because you're talking about $2,000. You got rent. You got other bills that you got to clothe them. You got to pay for gas in a car. You got to pay.
So
for
how much
utilities.
do you think a month? If you had 5 kids, do you think we could? It's crazy how Pac-Man Jones had 6 kids in his house, and he said they eat $8,000 a month.
A month.
So if we had 5 kids, do you think we would spend $2,000 a month on food?
Babe, we spend almost $1,000 a month on food with just us. So if we had 5 kids,
do you think we would be spending $4,000 a month? No way.
I would say we would be spending probably $3,000.
Nah,
because kids would eat.
They would eat porridge and shit.
No,
they
would eat grits and just oatmeal like we and eat. Porridge but you got to think too. You need more snacks. You need more juices. You need more waters. You need more cereal. You need more milk. You need more bread. We
go through bread like crazy.
Exactly. We buy 1 loaf of bread a week, and we have some left over.
Yeah.
If you got 5 kids in here, you need 3 loaves of bread.
Danny got 5 kids when his daughter.
And the eggs is $10.
Yeah, my man Danny got 5 kids when his daughter come over. He goes, we buy a loaf of bread, say Friday. He goes, Saturday afternoon, that shit is gone.
Okay.
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, a loaf of bread. And then he's like, when Linda wake up in the morning and cook her breakfast, it's a whole dozen of eggs.
Yeah.
Because she cook. And I'm like, I get it now. She cooking for you and 5 kids and herself.
Think about
She's
this.
like, yeah, like if everybody eat 2 eggs or 1.5 eggs a piece.
Let's say you make breakfast, right? You get 2 pieces of toast. So it's 16 slices of bread that come in the loaf. So he got 5 kids plus him and his wife. That's breakfast is 1 loaf. That's 14 slices.
Mm-hmm.
You got the butts left. You got 2 slices left. That's breakfast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We can't even make peanut butter and jelly again. We need another loaf. That's in 1 day.
That's crazy.
So now the kid, you can't even get a kid's 2 pieces of toast. You gotta tell them y'all gotta eat 1 piece of toast.
He's like, bro, they eat, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think if we have 5 kids, we spend between $200 to $250 a week on groceries. Okay. And you figure I don't cook on Fridays for dinner. Saturday usually don't cook. So let's say excluding those days, that's between $800 to $1,000 a month on groceries. If we had 5 kids here, we would easily be spending.
You could triple that.
Yeah.
You could triple that. Maybe even quadruple it.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 grams. Would you tell a sibling that the person that they're dating is a transgender if they didn't know? Now think about.
I'm gonna say.
Think about whether or not the sibling might know and just be cool with it. The person that you're telling on might not want to be be outed. You got to think about their feelings too, because we're older now. So let's leave the.
I'm gonna say today, sitting here, no. 10 years ago, if you asked me, I would have. Today, sitting here, no, because you again afford. You know what? I'm gonna say this. One of my siblings, I would tell. One of them, I wouldn't.
Wow, I knew you would say something like that.
Because you got to think about how the people that you know and how receptive they would be to information. Some people, when they say ignorance is bliss, it truly is. And some people aren't as ignorant as you think they are, but they're blissfully thinking that you're ignorant to their truth.
Right.
Stay ignorant.
No, I get that, but but the one you would tell, I know you talking about, but it's like you would tell her that this because guy that you're dating and you're in love with is used to be a girl. What if that he don't want to tell her? What if it fucks up everything between them? Like, why wouldn't you just mind your business across the board? Like, why would you think, oh, this is still something I have to say?
Because I think to myself, when they find out and their feelings are hurt and they're sad, how my integrity, like, what am I just going? I'm either gotta fake and act like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, and act like I didn't know, or let it be known that I knew, but I didn't tell you. Then it's like, well, why didn't you tell me? You let me find out, and so it's like. But I think you have to approach that situation based on the person. Based on the person. You got to know that person well enough to know whether or not you should or shouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell any of my siblings that they're fucking with a transgender. No. Like, I would mind my business like a motherfucker. Like.
But you also wouldn't tell your siblings if you got 3 brothers and a sister, if their spouses were cheating.
No.
I think you would tell. No, you wouldn't tell none. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I would stay out of that shit. That's sticky situations because again, I don't want to say nothing to nobody and they already know, and they be like, or they be so much in denial that now you're mad at me,
right?
And it's like, what the fuck, bro? I was just trying to give you a heads up. I ain't want to see you get hurt, like. But it now you fucking mad at me, like, all right, whatever. So I would just not say anything, and I don't know anything except, okay, he or she might be unfaithful, but that's all I know. I don't know the details.
But a transgender, and then also I feel like if they're like, I don't understand how people don't know. Because, okay, let's just think about
this. There are some people that we can put in front of ourselves now that we don't know.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the transgender part.
Yeah. There's some people that we can see and go places that we don't know.
Once you get naked.
Yeah.
Because even if you are, and I'm not meaning to be offensive because I always get confused. If you were a man and now you're a woman, even if you went all the way and had the surgery, I think even when they tuck it in the inside, it don't quite feel like a vagina.
And I think you always have to use lube and shit like that. So, I mean, there may be some clues, but I think in that moment.
And then if like, you were a woman and now they pulled it out and made one, I don't think it will ever feel like.
They could pull it out and like make a balloon?
Yeah.
Like blow it out?
I think they can make a penis.
All right, that's enough of that. So would you tell? I wouldn't tell a sibling that they was messing with a transgender. I wouldn't tell a sibling that their spouses was cheating.
I would tell one and not the other.
Okay. Andale Teller died 6 minutes from home in a Buffalo snowstorm. And it seems like the only thing that the person could do in that situation is have the people her family is saying the county or state should have had a travel ban. But it's like people don't listen to travel bans. Like there's always stay off the road travel bans and fuck we go outside. Like people don't listen to that shit even if it's snowing. And I remember being stuck coming from work in Voorhees, New Jersey, probably early in my career for 17 fucking hours in the snow. Me and Mousy was stuck on the fucking road and people were parking their cars and getting out. Like, I remember not going to work the next day, like stuck in the snow for a long time. But 6 minutes away from your house and you decide to sleep in the car until people come? That's not your fault. I'm not saying it in that kind of way. I'm just saying, what could somebody do for that not to happen? Because if you just say, travel ban, stay off the roads, people are not going to listen to
I
that.
think the only thing you can do if you live in areas like that is to and this is, after the fact, and it's sad to say, pack blankets in your car, like blankets that you do not take out for any reason and leave them in your car. Pack you know how they have like those
hand warmers,
yeah, like things like that that you can like warm you up, things like that that can strategically keep you
from going
warm.
hypothermia.
And this might sound crazy, keep water.
Mm-hmm.
Because staying hydrated as you drink, as cold as it might be, and you might not want to, can help too. Maybe even, this might sound a little crazy, like if they got like USB things that might be a warmer thing or something. Like things like, especially if you live in those areas, a travel ban, I think, is a moot point, because you got to think about this. If people are going to work or they're already on the highway, and we know we get these, well, not we, but in areas like that, it happened in Harrisburg before. Nobody died, but where the storm came so fast, as traffic starts to back up, a travel ban, okay, I'm already on the road. And now nobody can get off the road. And now we got to sit here. So I think those are the proactive things that people can do. Keep extra blankets in your car. Keep some of those hand warmer things. I can't think of it. Maybe candles or something in your car that you can just...
Flare shit. I mean, shit.
It'll blow up in your car.
Well, I mean, not lighting it in your car.
I mean, why would you have a flare though? What would that do?
Help.
But it wasn't other people. It wasn't like she was on the road by herself. She was on the highway with a bunch of other people.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, what you need to signal for help? How fast? Like, we light it up. Maybe a helicopter or something will see us.
I think people knew they were there. I think if you have like some jarred candles, we know we can't light candles in our bedroom because it make it too hot. You see some jarred candles on your dashboard, it will generate heat. I mean, I'm not making fun of it.
But that's also carbon monoxide that you shouldn't be breathing. So you can't
crack
be
the window a little
up in a car
bit. I mean,
that shit.
I don't know. It's just so sad. It's really sad.
It is sad that somebody actually went to sleep and froze to death. That's fucking, like, to think that something can happen like that in 2022 is just insane.
Yeah, that's sad.
Like, this isn't the Stone Ages. Like, people,
and the
somebody
fact that she
froze
was
to
6
death.
minutes from her house. Jesus Christ.
It might have took her 30 minutes to walk home.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if you 6 minutes from driving from your house, it might take 30 minutes to walk the fuck home. 40 minutes, but you home, even trekking through the snow.
But you think to yourself, if you on the highway, think about where we live, when we're on the highway, where we can literally be like 5 minutes from the house, but it's the highway.
Right, coming right off 295.
Yeah.
It's like if we was dropped off here, we're like a few miles from home.
Yeah, like
we're close in the car,
but it ain't close like walking. Sheesh.
But babe, 18 hours in the car, and you gotta shut that bitch off. Yeah, man, 18 hours in a car, and you just come from the gas station is different than quarter tank.
And you know what else in this world too is so sad, where we were taught not to trust strangers and stuff like that. But you think if she could have knocked on somebody else's car window, like, hey, do you have an extra blanket in here, extra jacket in here? So, and not blaming her, because I probably wouldn't have done that either. But you get to the point where you're just so cold, you just think like, is that an option? Like, could somebody else have helped her? Imagine being in a car next to her. No, imagine being in the car behind her, because eventually when traffic starts moving and they're trying to tell her to move and to wake her up, and if you're in the car behind her and you're warm and you got extra blankets and you think, damn, had I only known this car in front of me, the lady was in here freezing to death and I got an extra blanket.
Mm-hmm.
But our society is just not like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Condolences to her family. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
What is your highlight from this year? That is though the year is about to end and we're going into the new year. What was your one highlight from this year?
Ooh.
And you only got one. Make it short.
My like a thing that was a highlight.
Yeah, just what was your highlight of 2022 in
you
your
know
life?
What? Okay, so I was thinking on a different level of that, but us getting a new home,
mm-hmm.
Starting we bought our house our first house in 2008. prior to Act 2, prior to you gaining your freedom. So since you gained your freedom, there's been so many milestones that we have accomplished, and this was like, this wasn't even planned. Like literally, people wouldn't even understand. It was a thought that we put into motion, and in 6 weeks we sold our house and bought a house, and it worked out amazingly.
Don't forget the 9 days in the hotel.
Yeah. It worked out amazing. I had surgery. I was like, it worked out amazing for us. But this was like one of those things that it definitely wasn't planned, but it came to fruition, and it was great. It was just like another thing for Walter to, so I say my life, but it's connected to your life. But by getting a new house, because this wasn't in my forecast, and it was an awesome highlight of the year.
Yeah, I would say that too, to piggyback on what she said. Mine was going to be buying our home, and I also
you said you get one.
Okay, honorable mention. This is my show. It's just the both of us leaning into therapy. I think that really happened strong this year. We was doing therapy before that in 2021, but I think in 2022, like, we leaned all the way into it.
Yes.
And, you know, what we were putting into it, what we was getting back out of it. And when when you're doing something and you see results, it's like you want to keep doing it. And that's what it did for us this year. So honorable mention is just us leaning into therapy the way that we did this year.
Yes. His shoulder hurt too down low.
That's a wrap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 103. We out of here. International Walk.
It's your girl Taj, the co-hostess with the most.
Catch us on act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Pod, Anchor, Radio Public, TikTok, Breaker, and Spotify. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. She cool as shit, ain't she? Peace.
Look.